Israel's Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and his wife touched down in Washington this morning after a pre-scheduled invitation to meet with Joe Biden and to speak to Congress. But as you can see in that video, it seems like when they touched down on the tarmac, there was no one really there to greet them other than the ambassador. It seems like in the midst of all the political chaos going on in Washington right now, that the White House maybe kind of forgot that Netanyahu was coming. Is there anyone actually running the show anymore? Also, China, in a surprising move, just brokered a surprise deal between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. This is going to be a crazy news cycle, guys, so hold on. I'm Ben, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome back to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. So, Israel's Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu just touched down in Washington this morning. He flew on the new Wing of Zion airplane, Israel's new Air Force One equivalent. He'd been finally invited to meet with President Biden in the White House. Up until now, he's been basically snubbed by Biden in that regard. He wasn't invited to the White House initially when he took up this most current term inside of Israel. Biden did finally half-heartedly agree to meet with him at a UN convention in New York, but did not invite him to the White House. And then Biden did fly to Israel for a short visit after October 7th. So when Biden extended an invitation for Bibi to come visit in Washington, Bibi was very quick to take him up on that offer. Netanyahu has been careful to walk the tightrope of American politics diplomatically, urging that Israel will be America's ally in the Middle East, regardless of who the American people choose as their president, not favoring Biden over Trump in this presidential race. He brought hostages liberated from Gaza with him to tell their stories to America, also to urge America to do their part to free their own hostages from Gaza. A lot of people don't realize, but there's still 8 American hostages, American citizens held by Hamas inside of Gaza. The American government has done very little to actually free, or shown very little interest in doing anything to get them free. Bibi also came to revitalize American support for Israel, as Israel stands between the threat of Iran and its axis of evil and the free world. Iran has made it very clear that as soon as they destroy Israel, they are coming after America. They've always made that very clear. And I believe it is very much in our best interest to enable Israel to hold the line instead of waiting for the fight to come to our shores. But when Netanyahu landed in Washington, as you can see in the video, pretty much no one was there to meet him. Only the American ambassador and some other low-level officials. No Joe Biden, no Kamala Harris, no Secretary of State, no Secretary of Defense, and so on. He basically had to call his own Uber to get to his hotel. It was that bad. In contrast, this was Biden's visit to Israel back in October. Obviously, this was an embarrassment for Netanyahu specifically because he was invited to the United States. Also, I believe it's an embarrassment to the U.S. and a threat to our national security because, like it or not, we are very much being watched by a lot of countries around the world right now with all the craziness going on our soil. We are being watched by our allies to see how trustworthy we are, and we are being watched by our enemies to see how much they can get away with. And right now, we pretty much just forgot about an invite that we sent to our most important Middle Eastern ally. We either forgot or just full out snubbed them. Either option is not good at all. Biden and Bibi were also scheduled to meet today after Netanyahu landed, and then Bibi would address America's Congress tomorrow. But the meeting today was just canceled with no explanation. Biden's staff, it seems like they're indicating, they leaked that they might be able to meet on Thursday, but there's no definite plans. So that's not good. So Netanyahu was just kind of left in limbo until then. Vice President Kamala Harris said that she would meet with Netanyahu, but didn't provide a time or date as far as I'm aware. And also, I don't think she's even in the state right now. So we'll have to see what happens there. I think we should be very concerned about the state of our country. The world is watching us, and what they're seeing right now is that America is leaderless. And stepping into that leadership gap, that void that is being created on the world stage, is China. They just made a very scary step in Middle East policy. We're going to get into that in just a second, but first, real quick, I want to tell you about some very good friends of ours at Blessed by Israel. Israel has been at war for over 8 months now, which has taken a big toll on the economy. Businesses are struggling and prices are rising. With Blessed by Israel, you have the opportunity to step up and invest in small businesses and families in Israel by purchasing their wonderful products. When you shop at blessedbyisrael.com, you're getting more than awesome olive oil, tea, honey, cosmetics, and many other great products. You're sending a vital reinforcement to Israel to help keep them strong. So head over to blessedbyisrael.com. That's blessedbyisrael.com. Enjoy the wonderful products and make your crucial investment in the families and small businesses of Israel. Use code INVEST for $5 off your first order. So apparently, the various terror organizations in Israel's neighborhood have been in China working on a peace deal. I didn't even know this was happening until this morning when I saw that Hamas and Fatah just announced that they are forming a national unity government. Israel's Foreign Affairs Minister Israel Katz wrote this on X in response. Hamas and Fatah signed an agreement in China for joint control of Gaza after the war. Instead of rejecting terrorism, Mahmoud Abbas embraces the murderers and rapists of Hamas, revealing his true face. In reality, this won't happen because Hamas's rule will be crushed and Abbas will be watching Gaza from afar. Israel's security will remain solely in Israel's hands. The senior Hamas official who was involved in the deal said that the National Unity Government would manage the affairs of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, oversee reconstruction, and prepare conditions for elections. What this means, I think, is that Hamas is getting desperate. They despise the Palestinian Authority. Hamas does. They see them as inefficient, corrupt, powerless, lazy, solely focused on their own self-interest, mostly true assessments. And I think that them being willing to work with Fatah in an official capacity means that they are getting desperate for any help that they can get, which is a good sign. It's a good sign for Israel. Also, it means that the PA, the Palestinian Authority, isn't nearly as moderate as people think that they are. They are a terrorist organization. Regardless of how much the world likes to assert otherwise, they are a terrorist organization. They praised the brutal attack on October 7th. They continue to pay the salaries of terrorists in Israeli prisons, but America continues to treat them like they're a moderate political party. For months, the White House has been trying to force Israel into a ceasefire deal with Hamas and hand over control of Gaza to the Palestinian Authority as if they're just some civil government. The Palestinian Authority and Fatah are the same organization, in case you haven't caught on to that yet. But this unity government between Hamas and Fatah, or Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, shows their true colors for what they actually are. Broadcasted to the world, even though most of the world will continue to just roll over it and pretend that it doesn't exist. They are willing to join with Hamas in a national unity government. I don't know how much clearer you can get. Meaning they're willing to support Hamas and do whatever it takes to keep them in power in Gaza. We're going to have to wait and see what all the repercussions of this will be on the world stage as it plays out over the next couple of months, not only for the Middle East, but for the world, as it emboldens China to take on new liberties in this sphere. And other countries will perhaps seize the opportunity of a leaderless Washington to do whatever they want over the next 6 months. Guys, don't forget to check out our friends at Blessed by Israel. The link is in the description below. As always, stop listening to the lies and propaganda and connect with the truth of what is happening in Israel.